Welcome back to Movie Recaps. Today I will show you a fantasy horror film from 2009, titled Thirst. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Song-hyun is a priest who volunteers at the local hospital, providing prayers, an ear for confession, last rites, and even some songs played with his flute. However, he feels like he isn't doing enough. People keep dying of EV every day and he can only watch, so he asks Father Ro, a blind priest superior to Song-hyun, to send him to the labs where they are experimenting to find a vaccine. Ro doesn't like the idea. Nobody doesn't know what truly is going on in those laboratories and the Vatican doesn't approve of them. But he gives in after Song-hyun explains how important it is for him. When he arrives at the labs, Song-hyun is told of all the possible horrendous side effects that he may go through while being part of the experiment, but Song-hyun isn't scared and gives his consent to proceed. He spends his days in the labs playing the flute, reading, praying, writing letters, and playing volleyball with the other volunteers. A month later, his body is covered in blisters, and one afternoon, Song-hyun ends up vomiting blood in his room. He's immediately taken to the emergency room and given a transfusion, but the doctor's efforts are pointless. Song-hyun dies on the table. However, after he's covered with a sheet, the doctors are surprised to suddenly hear him pray. Somehow, after his heart stopped, Song-hyun is still alive and his blisters are gone. 6 months later, Song-hyun leaves the labs to return to his congregation, and lots of people are waiting for him at the door. The news of his recovery has spread and everyone believes him to be a miracle for being the only survivor of the experiment among 500 volunteers. He travels with his entire body bandaged up and stays that way while going back to his duties as a priest. It isn't until he goes to see the doctor that he takes them off, and the doctor confirms he's healed incredibly fast. Song-hyun still notices some differences in his body though. He's become strangely sensitive to sound and smell, which makes him feel dizzy and nauseous, but those aren't symptoms of EV. Song-hyun starts being known as the Bandaged Saint, and people come to him believing he may heal them. One afternoon, he's approached by Mrs. Ra, who wants him to come and see her son Kang-woo, who is very sick. When he goes to the hospital to offer his prayers,